So it was Kilmacud Crokes 113, Wolfe Tones 1-9. That was an interesting game in the end. It was a little bit stop-start to begin with. Maybe not the best game to begin with in the opening 15 to 20 minutes, but in the end, Kilmacud Crokes getting a big victory there over Wolfe Tones of Meath. Wolfe Tones battled hard, like they gave it as good as they got it, and certainly coming out after the water break in the first half, after getting that goal, brilliant bit of play from Keane Ward on the right-hand side, hand passed, what am I saying? Hand pass over the top, and it ends up in the back of the net. For Kilmacud Crokes, though, I mean, fair play. They had enough in this game to get the victory. They did enough from start to finish. And Paul Mannion, like, goodness me, I mean, he might just be the best footballer in the country. I mean, there's really, and it's kind of crazy. You've probably got the best footballer there in the country, and he's not playing for the county, unfortunately. But yeah, some of his points taken was absolutely brilliant. And I think, you could see clearly what the tactic was for Wolfe Tones and what they were trying to do. A lot of men behind the ball, trying to limit the space, trying to limit any Kilmacud Crokes goal opportunities, trying to force them to kick from distance. But I've said it in previous match reactions, podcast videos, whatever. You can have that tactic all you want, but when you've got a player like Paul Mannion, he's a man who can split the posts from 30 to 40 yards. Like, he doesn't need an invitation. He doesn't need a second invitation. He's the man who can kick those scores from those distances. And, if you're going to get a lot of men behind the ball, then you need to make sure that Paul Mannion isn't on the ball, and it's easier said than done. And I think that was the problem that Wolfe Tones had, was that for as good as they could be defensively and have that defensive setup and limit Kilmacud Crokes going forward, what they didn't realize is obviously Paul Mannion, can be kicking scores and also picking out passes as well. Like that pass for Hugh Kenny, who then put it into Ben Shovlin, who obviously forces the save of the keeper. It eventually goes in the back of the net. But Paul Mannion very directly involved in that goal as well. Like, he picks the pass for Hugh Kenny, who obviously then gets the assist, plays it onto Ben Shovlin. So, like, you can spot a pass as well. His vision is absolutely brilliant. I think it might be one of his best his best, I suppose, assets of Paul Mannion. His vision on the ball is second to none. But look, Paul Mannion kicked 7 points. He was man of the match. Like, you can't take that away from him, no doubt about it. But, it is a team game at the end of the day. It isn't just one individual. And I think for Kilmacud Crokes, they had a number of very good players out there. Cian O'Connor was very impressed of him. Well, at number 5, he was very good at talk coming out with the ball. And Darren Mullen as well showed a lot of good trickery at different stages in the game. Just weaving in now spaces, getting beyond a couple of players here and there, kicked a couple of fine scores. Conor Ferris, was fairly decent from his kickouts as well, done what he had to. But yeah, for Kilmacud Crokes, fairly comfortable. Wolfe Tones get that goal straight after the water break. Like I said before, it was 1-3 to a point at that stage. Keane Ward, who looked like Wolfe Tones' most dangerous player, must be said, hit a couple of scores himself, and was obviously involved in a lot of what Wolfe Tones were doing when they were getting forward. He was certainly the man who was that Kilmacud Crokes were most worried about, and he was the one who obviously plays that pass for the goal. Very good hand pass. And, there was definitely a stage there before the end of the half where Wolfe Tones were getting a bit of momentum. They kicked a couple of points, and it wasn't easy for Kilmacud Crokes, but I think it was 4 unanswered scores at the start of the second half. Really starting to dictate the play in the middle as well. And for Wolfe Tones, it was one of them scenarios really where it was going to be very, very difficult for them to come back into the game the more the game went on. For Kilmacud, it wasn't their best performance in the world, but as we've seen in a lot of these club games, you just need to get over the line. You need to do what you can do to, I suppose, get the victory and then move on to the next game. And, Paul Mannion obviously gets a goal chance late on as well, puts it over the bar, probably could have went for a goal. Couple of wonder scores from him as well. Craig Diaz was impressive in around midfield as always. And Dan O'Brien kicked, a wonder score at one stage in the game as well. And he definitely looks like one for the future. So for Kilmacud Crokes, they do have, as you would say, the best footballer probably left in the club championships. Maybe Conor Glass might be a different conversation, but obviously he's a midfielder. But for Paul Mannion, when you have a player like that, you've always got a chance. But I do think they have a lot more than Paul Mannion as well. And I think with Darren Mullen, Hugh Kenny, Dan O'Brien, these kind of lads as well. Diaz in midfield, and Rory Carroll at the back. Like very, very solid team and a solid spine in their team. And this kind of performance would make you think that maybe they won't get caught like they did in 2018, and they're definitely one of the contenders for the All Ireland still. For Wolfe Towns, look, I think that what was it, their first Meath championship since 2006 or something like that. So they'll take a bit of confidence from this game, and I'm sure they'll regroup going into the Meath championship next year. Plenty of talented footballers in there as well, like Thomas O'Reilly, a notable player for the Meath senior footballer. So he did a decent game at different stages as well. But you'd have to say Kilmacud Crokes just a little bit more the season side, a little bit more experience in there, and Paul Mannion was a difference in the end because he hit 7 points, 4-point victory, some brilliant points from play as well. For Kilmacud Crokes, they'll play Port Arlington next, I believe, who got a late victory over St. Lomans of Westmeath. And, a lot of hype around Port Arlington at the moment. So, I mean, that might be a closer game than people think. And, some of the results in the club championships this weekend have been phenomenal, really. Like Dromore losing to Derry Donnelly Harps, Nave Martins getting beat by Shell Maliers. I was keeping an eye on Knockmore Thurles-Strand. Knockmore just about got over the line. So, like in club championships, it's so unpredictable. You can never really predict what's going to happen next. But for Kilmacud Crokes, look, huge victory for them. And they'll march on now into the Leinster club semi-finals, which I believe are in 2 weeks' time. So, very excited for that game. And if you could subscribe, leave a like, I would very much appreciate it. Match reaction for Waddy Graham's Glen and Scottstown will be out after this video. So make sure to tune into that stream at full time. Kilmacud Crokes march on 113 to 19. My name's Aaron.